ready for my arrival, worm.
たとえ世界が全てを燃やそうとしても
Do you ever feel like your choices in life don't matter? Do you ever feel like no matter the path you choose, the outcome is always the same?
Or at least in a shade of blue, red, or green.
Yes. Yeah, an obvious reference to the ending of Mass Effect 3, which still... I know they went back and quote-unquote fixed it, but I still feel cheated. I still feel very cheated. Because, once again, I hate to say it, BioWare should have stood their ground against EA and just said, no, we're not going to rush this game. It's like, but we wanted to be out in 2012. We need it out for 2012. And they're like, no, it'll be out when it's ready. Casey, that's one reason why Casey Hudson left.
Gets closed, though.
Huh?
That's how your studio gets closed, though. Trying to stand up to the big-ass publisher bully.
This is why, again, Ray Musica and Chad Muska, like, again, they folded, and as soon... This is what happened, dude. This is exactly where the downfall of BioWare started. You remember all the great games BioWare made? You know, the Baldur's Gate series, Mass Effect series.
I mean, Dragon Age.
Dragon Age. No, they did the Baldur's Gate series, too.
Oh, they started with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did the Baldur's Gate series, they did the Mass Effect series, they did the Dragon Age series, and then whenever they got purchased by EA after the first Mass Effect game, that's when everyone was so excited, like, oh, they're gonna have all this money, and then they made Mass Effect 2, and it's considered probably their one of their best games ever. Oh, not only that, but KOTOR, the first KOTOR game, and then after that was when EA decided, yeah, they're good at making games. But we want them to make us more money, not good games. We want more money. And then, instead of giving them more time to work on Mass Effect 3, they said, oh no, we're shortening your development time, and now we want you to release it instead of 2013 or 2014, we're pushing the release window forward to 2012. And the frustration felt from that was what led to Ray Musica and Chad Muska, the two original investors in BioWare that made BioWare a thing, quit and leave. And Casey Hudson, the lead director of some of the greatest games that BioWare's ever directed, the lead director, made him quit too. And thus BioWare ever since then, it's been a steady decline all the way to where they are now with the history of Anthem, Dragon Age 4, and everything else that they've touched. And I hate to say it, but this is just how it goes whenever AA studios see the money on the horizon from big publishers and basically are just like, yeah, we'll sign with them. It's why, again, this is why you look at the graveyard of studios that EA had, dude. And look where they're at now. Look where the majority of them at now. The original developers of Dead Space, gone. BioWare, in the toilet. Just all these amazing studios, gone. And now here we are with, in the modern era, which we're finally recovering from that, and these gaming studios are realizing, we don't need big publishers. We can self-publish.
Signing with a big publisher is literally a liability.
Yes. At this point...
Because not only do they have the ability to Thanos snap you out of existence, but they're going to ruin what you want to do.
And not only that...
And they're potentially going to replace people in positions that were doing a really good job, and you're not going to be able to do as well anymore.
Well, what they always do is this. They always get what I call useful idiots. EA goes out and they hire these useful idiots, and they put them in the companies that they want more control in. And then... they have these people undermine the people who are in higher positions that don't agree with EA's business model. It may be good for the game developers, it may be good for the development house, But it's not good for EA because EA is not making enough money, so they undermine them. And when that person gets checked out, EA forces like the person that they put in there up the ladder and up the ladder and up the ladder, and before you know it, the people running the company are all the people that are from EA. The people who run the original company are no longer members of the original company. They're cronies from EA. Same thing with Activision. Same thing with all these other major publishers out there. And a lot of these studios, like Larian, had every opportunity to sell to a publisher whenever they wanted to do Baldur's Gate 3. They had every opportunity, and they didn't take it.
I'm very glad they didn't.
And then what happened? But here's the thing: what's happened ever since then? There's been a bunch of people in these big studios saying, "Oh, Larian, Larian, they're not a real AAA studio. They're not a real their quality isn't as good as ours."
Bullshit.
I call massive amounts of bullshit on that. Baldur's Gate 3 is arguably the greatest game of the 2020s. And we're only halfway through the decade. I think it's going to be looked back on as probably the greatest game of the 2020s. I mean, just because of the depth, what you can do, the fact that you can do multiplayer and you don't have to pay extra for it, and that all of the updates that they've released have not been paid DLC, and they support the modding community and everything, and the fact that they self-published, it's amazing. God.
Well, it's a game where your choices actually matter.
Exactly. So yeah, top 10 games where your choices actually matter. If
there's so many games that have the illusion of choice.
Yes.
Your choices don't actually really do anything. Every time I play a game nowadays, and there's one of the big ones that irks the crap out of me is the way that Genshin and the Hoyo games do their stuff. Because they give you 2 different dialogue options, but it's always the same outcome no matter which one you pick. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why even give the option?
Well, I'll say this much: the first 2 Mass Effect games, I felt that, and then the third one happened. I'm just like, what? Why did I do all the stuff in the previous 2 games? And then, of course, another one, Spec Ops: The Line. Good Lord, man, the white fought the choice. Y'all know the one I'm talking about, but. There's so many different things that can happen just from your choices in that. Another one too is I'll say if Baldur's Gate 3 isn't on here, then I don't know what the hell to say. When was this made?
It's Baldur's Gate.
2 weeks ago.
Okay. There's not that many games where your choices actually do matter. So there's Baldur's Gate 3, Disco Elysium, Witcher 3, that I can think of off the top of my head. I think the original Dragon Age, maybe. Mm-hmm. There's Planescape Torment. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're mostly all CRPGs because that's the only kind of game where the choices actually make a big difference usually.
Yeah. But they're going to...
Probably Rogue Trader, if I had to guess. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Which is also a CRPG.
Well, we have here the top 10 top 10 games where your choices actually matter by Josh Scorcher. So, are you ready to see what Josh Scorcher has to say? All right, everybody, here we go.
This video is brought to you by Redneck Engineer, custom-built gaming PCs and parts for an affordable price. Use code JoshScorcher at checkout for a 5% discount. And make sure you don't have any coupon clipping extensions like Honey installed or I don't get my commission. Thank you! The concept of choose your own adventure.
Once again, I think it's kind of nonsense. Well, again, Honey, I think it's wrong that Honey overrides, if you come from someone else's, affiliate link, all that. But I think if you don't come from an affiliate link and Honey offers you that up there, I think that's also pretty cool. Although I do think it's wrong that Honey, that's something that Honey definitely has to fix with their, thing, where it overrides, you coming from a different affiliate link.
Living crap out of a bunch of creators for a really long time. So it's really messed up. I uninstalled them. I'll never use them again.
I hear you.
Adventure has been around since before the 1980s, thanks to the popularity of the choose your own adventure novel. But nowadays, the concept is most seen in games.
Oh, God.
Why?
The Walking
Interactivity.
Dead.
Games don't just let you kill enemies and pick up items. They can be a medium to make the story your own. We're going to be ranking these based on gameplay and the weight of your choices within that gameplay. Can the story be manipulated by even the smallest choices? Does it have engaging gameplay to further immerse the player in the story they create? If it doesn't have either of those, might as well just be watching a movie. Or playing a Telltale game. Or this Prosy D clip.
King Dragons. It's a good thing I always carried 2 guns.
Really?
Most video games follow a very simple principle with their storytelling. When the story calls for your character to do something, you have to do it. That's how a plot works after all. Sure, you get games like Spec Ops: The Line that call you a bad person for doing that, but what if we didn't like either of those? What if we just ignored any and all calls to adventure? Well, then you get the Stanley Parable. The premise is simple.
Okay. The Stanley Parable, I need to go back and play like the revamped version of it. I've heard people say it's even better now.
Stanley is a simple office worker who finds his workplace empty and himself following a strange yellow line, in some cases. A narrator beckons you forth in the call to adventure. Or you could just ignore him. Yeah, just go whatever way you want. The narrator's not going to stop you. He'll just have to sit there and watch as you completely derail his plot.
This was not the correct
And be snarky the entire fucking way.
way to the
You played Stanley Parable, right?
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
Yeah, I
well.
got almost
Perhaps he wanted to stop.
100% in the original outside of the one. I think I should have it by now, the one where you don't play it for a number of years.
Yeah. Oh, same. I think I should have that one too.
By the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
A few moments later.
You've destroyed my work! Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now.
And that's the gameplay loop of the Stanley Parable. There's many ways to mess around with the game, and it's surprising just how many scenarios and opportunities.
Oh, yeah. There's all return to the office, return to the monitor room, adventure into unexplored territory, find the line again, end up in another building, narrator restarts the game. Literally, there's so many different ways to play this, or ways to like end the game.
It gives you and will react to. For example, there's just a broom closet, standard old broom closet.
Yep.
That you can walk into. The broom closet. The narrator will remind you there's nothing in the broom closet. But if you decide to just stick around in there, in the broom closet, shut yourself in there for hours, in the broom closet, the narrator will be exasperated with the player's choice and even get mad about you posting about it online. About the broom closet. There's so many ways you can toy with this game. To list them all would be a disservice to the amount of experimentation you can do. All the endings the game has that depends on the different ways you follow the narrator's story or not, and updates only added to this. It's a short game, but it's a taste of how much games will pay attention to what you do.
And since when did I acquire all these portraits of...
The broom closet. Quantic Dream is well known for their story-based games that are all about making choices. Whether they're famous or infamous for that, depends on who you ask. But regardless of the recurring writing choices, Detroit Become Human is definitely one of their better works. In a future,
I still need to do another playthrough of that at some point, because I've still only played through it one time.
I have yet to play through it, and everyone tells me that it is good. But I still want to play through Heavy Rain with Kate. It's not a horror. It has horror elements, but it's not a full horror game. I just want to see the choices that Kate would make in that.
One of the downsides is part of the choices in that kind of game is like down to just like whether or not you choose to actually, or not even choose sometimes, but whether or not you mess up quick time events.
That's true too. I mean, that's to me.
Sometimes you have a choice that it only gives you a couple seconds to make. Otherwise, it just makes it for you.
Mm-hmm.
society is full of humans and androids, you follow 3 different main characters. Connor, an android officer in charge of solving cases involving rogue androids. Kara, a servant android on the run with a child in her custody. And Marcus, a deviant revolutionaire fighting for the freedom of androids. Every decision you make not only affects the stories individually, but they even affect each other. Decisions you make in Connor's route could lead to better or worse situations in Kara's story. You could have Connor and Marcus work together in one route, or fight each other in the other. Either way, it's pretty impressive just how many scenarios you can get out of this story. Admittedly, not all these routes are all that compelling. Kara's story has some pacing issues, and Marcus's romance arc is so vapid and makes me want to go back to Brothership or Sands of Time just to cleanse my palate. Really, Connor's story
Yeah. Ugh.
is what makes it all worth it.
Okay, the fact that they said that you want to go back to the Sands of Time one. The Sands of Time one is kind of clunky in its own way, especially with how it ends. The fact that they're saying that you need to go back to that to cleanse yourself of the... Jesus.
While not only is Brian Deckert's performance really endearing, but he's also partnered with the best character in the game, Spindlehorse Mr. Krabs.
I don't give a fuck about your story.
What the fuck? I don't need this.
Get the fuck out of my
Just a
house.
fucking machine, motherfucker.
What is this editing? I know he drops a lot of F-bombs in like certain roles that he's in, but he doesn't really say the F-word that much. Jesus. I was gonna say, did they just tell Clancy Brown to just be like, all right, every other 3 words, we want you to say fuck. And he's just like, really? You want me to just say yes? It's like, all right, listen the fuck here. I can't fucking believe that you would fucking try it. It's like, good lord.
No, we still don't have a Squidward swearing catalog yet. Weird, considering he strikes me as the one who'd do it most. The writing issues do keep the game from being higher on the list, but hey, stiff as it can be sometimes, it's still delivered its premise according to the program.
Yeah, like I've only seen like one style of playing through Detroit Become Human so far, and I was like, man, like based off all the places I saw that it looked like you could probably completely change up the story, I really got to play this again at some point. But I never got back around to it.
I have seen more of like parody stuff about Detroit Become Human. For instance, the Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in it. I swear I've laughed at that so much.
Hey, remember this odd little game that I just happened to talk about out of nowhere? Yeah, how about we actually take a look at how it plays? Void Stranger is a dungeon-crawling puzzle game starring Mom of the Year
Please
on a
don't
journey to...
spoil this game for me.
Uh-oh.
It's on my wish list. Don't spoil it, please. I'm gonna be so mad if this video spoils this game for me in some way. I don't want to watch this section, actually. Can we skip this section?
Hold on.
I've been told this is one of those games you don't want to know things about before you play it.
Okay, post-production, Nate. I will come back to this later. Everyone, I will come back to this later. Post-production, Nate. Cut to solo Nate reacting to this by himself. Oh, dang, don't tell me this is one of those alternate timeline things again. Damn it. Alright, what do... Oh. Wait, oh yeah, these are the games that Nick wants to... Nick is wanting to play. And, yeah, Void Stranger. Yeah, he talked about this one. He talked about how he wanted to play this. So, oh, if I'm reacting to this with Nick, then that means he wouldn't want to watch this, so I'm here now. Okay. I know my mission now. I know my mission. Okay. Hi, everyone. Solo Nate here. I know we don't usually meet under these circumstances, but here we are. So, yeah. 10 games where your choices actually matter. Number 8, Void Stranger. Here we go.
Hey, remember this odd little game that I just happened to talk about out of nowhere? Yeah, how about we actually take a look at how it plays? Void Stranger is a dungeon-crawling puzzle game starring Mom of the Year on a journey to save a princess from a dungeon called the Void. In your hands is a rod that lets you collect and place tiles at will, opening up to a myriad of ways to solve each room. Create paths, block enemy routes, heck, you can even move the stairs. Now, if only you could crush the enemies with it. The more you play, you start to notice just how many pieces of the puzzle there really are. The clues you find play a big part in the routes you can take along your journey, and the rod's usage is not as limited as it looks. Let's just say the stairs aren't the only way around the dungeon. While the game starts out difficult and restricted, once you understand how everything works, the game opens up so much. It's crazy how many ways Void Stranger lets you break it and even stray away from the main story. Interestingly, the choices are more gameplay-driven than story-driven. You get different routes and endings, not only from solving some quests and riddles differently, but also breaking the UI. Yeah, you can do that and cheat your way across the void. Each of these different endings even—
Wait, what? Really?
UI. Yeah, you can do that and cheat your way across differently, but also breaking the UI. Yeah, you can do that and cheat your way across the void. Each of these different endings even provide you with
insane.
lore pieces that help put the bigger story together. Speaking of which, get ready for a plethora of story bits that aren't gonna make sense from the get-go. Sure, there's the Mother Says Daughter main story that's easy enough to follow, but then there's also the story of the Void Lords, which also ties to the main story and its characters thematically. Plus, some endings reveal bizarrely vague lore about how this void came to be and why. I mean, yeah, it's not that complicated once you have it all lined up. It just arranges it in a way that makes it ridiculously confusing. No, you are not taking notes! Yeah, the game gets more and more riddle-based as it goes on. For most people, this kind of out-of-the-box problem-solving and piecing together really vague plot may not be what they want. Eventually, it feels less like playing a game and more like solving an ARG. But it's a very different experience, and you might find a lot to enjoy and appreciate here. As long as you don't mind turning your brain into an overcooked GPU.
Alright. That was interesting. I can see why Nick didn't want to see any of that, because there was some spoilers there that I don't think he would like very much. Oh well. Alright. So, I guess let's get Nick back in here. Hold on 1 second. And a 1, and a 2, and sorry about that, everybody. So instead, we are now...
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So it's like, I don't know if it's like Inscription or not, but I've been told it's a game that you kind of don't want to know stuff about before you play, and I've purposely avoided knowing much beyond the bare minimum until I get to play it.
That's fair. So that's what we're going to do. I skipped that part simply because I wanted to preserve Nick's ability to play that game completely obfuscated from all things to do with the plot. Again, everybody, I'm so sorry about that, but
it's not even plot, but apparently the mechanics-wise, because it's kind of like one of those things, sort of like Inscription, where even the mechanics are like a spoiler if you know too much about it.
Okay, so hopefully Solo Nate's reaction was enough for that. Anyway, moving on. Said moving on.
The Persona series has exploded in popularity over the years, and it's not hard to see why. The engaging stories, likable characters, social simulation elements. There's a lot to appreciate. For all its strengths, though, the choices you make in the story don't really matter all that much. More often than not, all they do is maybe determine what ending you get, and a lot of other games do that. Now, if only there was a Persona game where your choices actually did affect the story. Oh wait, there totally is. Devil Survivor. In Devil Survivor, a group of teenagers gain the ability to summon demons. And, well, so do a bunch of other people, which leads Tokyo to be put into lockdown. Given the circumstances, things quickly go from tense to catastrophic. And as such, you're forced to make some incredibly difficult decisions about the broom closet. Depending on your choices, characters can join you, desert you, and even die. As the stakes constantly escalate, you go from making decisions that determine the...
I have bad news for him.
I get there are callbacks. There are callbacks that can be funny. For instance, the broom closet. Like if you had Connor from like Detroit Become Human peek his head out and just be like, we get it, bro. Like we get it. You think this is fun?
Fate of your friends to those that affect humanity as a whole. This was bolstered even further with the 8th Days in the 3DS remake, where you get to see the fallout from the ending you chose. And by far the biggest example of it is Naoya's. Do you mercilessly slaughter everyone in your way, or convince them to fight alongside you? One thing's for sure, Oh no. We have some breaking news, don't we?
What was that about?
Many people play video games to distract themselves from the treacherous world of politics. But what if there was a game that only showcased that treacherous world, but also forced the player to make decisions that directly affected the fabric of the nation's political situation? On that note, not for broadcast. Yeah, you were probably expecting this one by now. You step into the shoes of Alex Winston, a faceless, gender-neutral protag who one fateful day is tasked with editing a live broadcast of the national nightly news. You begin to edit all the subsequent broadcasts after a guy that trains you basically says, "This shit, I'm out." The decisions you make in this game are based on what you want to show to the viewing audience and what you want to censor. Sure, probably not a huge deal of beeping out the fucking swear words, but at some point in the game you're asked to censor speech that speaks against the government. Do you comply? Or do you stand against the prime ministers because you disagree with their policies? This isn't what you signed up for, but you might have to make a choice. What happens when the resistance group hacks into your broadcast? Do you support them, or do you ignore them in favor of keeping the viewers and your boss happy? On top of that, you have to make decisions in your own personal life via visual novel segments, which the developers have dubbed the incident system. Here you choose how to conduct yourself as a partner, a parent, even an employee, which affects your relationships and your wealth. Every plot point in this game shares a different yet contemporary topic of discussion.
Or something.
Yeah, kinda.
A lot of it can be tied to US politics, but you don't have to see it that way. You're constantly being pressured to side with one group over the other, and sadly, you can't side with one without facing extreme ethical repercussions. Making that decision is about the same as trying to determine which end of a double-edged sword you want to cut yourself with. Either way, you're going to look down and find that you're bleeding out. Full motion video is not common in the games industry anymore, as most FMV games from the past have been less than stellar, though I still miss the Civ 2 Council. They were hilarious. But Not for Broadcast takes full advantage of this format, and with so many little decisions and so much footage, the developers filmed for 43 hours. That was enough footage to earn the devs a Guinness World Record, and this isn't even counting the game.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
3 DLCs. Don't even get me started on the actors, who do a really good job even as they have to act in all the different routes you could potentially take. I encourage y'all, play this game. It's fun, downright hilarious at times, but it's also informative. It uses its player choice system for the purpose of teaching you how to make the right calls, but even the right calls have consequences.
Also,
but regardless
it's like a better FMV game than Immortality. Like, I know a lot of people liked Immortality, but I personally didn't. I played all the way through it by accident because I actually beat it by accident, and that was part of the reason that I didn't like it. It's like whenever they try to hide an ending behind like a clever puzzle in my brain, it's just like I see a pattern here and then accidentally get the ending well before I'm supposed to. I'm just kind of like, not the best game design.
Damn.
Consequences, they're choices that only you can make.
Only you can make tomorrow better.
Now, can we turn the lights back on, please?
Apparently not.
You're watching a video on YouTube.
No.
The video in particular is a countdown, and the number 5 spot of this countdown is a game called Slay the Princess.
I need you to skip this one too.
All right.
This is literally in my top 10 games to play next list right now.
Okay.
So I saw the art style and I was just like, fuck.
I hear you. Hey, Solo Nate, what do you guys say about this? Damn it, again? Oh. Yeah, okay. I can understand why Nick wouldn't want me to wouldn't want to watch this with me. So yeah, I guess I'm back again. I wonder how many branching timelines we're making just by clapping him in and out of existence and making this little pocket dimension for me to react to videos in. I swear, if I would have known that doing solo reactions like this would lead to shit like this, probably would have started doing it sooner. I love messing with the space-time continuum. This shit's fun. Alright, so Slay the Princess. I can understand why Nick would want to see this, because another game that he is dying to play. It's actually, I think he said this one was actually next on his playlist. I can't remember. But anyway, back to it.
You're watching a video on YouTube. The video in particular is a countdown, and the number 5 spot of this countdown is a game called Slay the Princess. In this game, there's a princess, and you're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. Well, you don't necessarily have to, but much like the Stanley Parable, the narrator of this game is a rather persistent DM who will do anything to ensure that the story goes how he wants it. It becomes a matter of who you trust more. The narrator? The princess? The hero? The choice really is yours. You can be merciful to the princess and she'll be a sweetheart. Or you can go through with your mission and she'll become much more threatening. Why, thank you for asking, viewer. Those of you whom have followed me for quite a while know that I'm not always an indie horror fan, but from the gothic art style to the horrific depictions of the princess, the tense music, and hilarious banter between the voices, Slay the Princess manages to spark my fancy in a way that most other indie horror games often don't. Oh, come on, it's quite obvious, isn't it? The sheer scope of the decisions. Sure, while it doesn't have more involved gameplay mechanics like Void Stranger or Not for Broadcast, nearly every single dialogue tree unlocks a new route in your quest. Each time you die, the game resets, and you'll respawn in a slightly altered version of your reality. Then you come across a disturbing figure that explains to you the gravity of your decisions, and each decision you make, you will end up second-guessing. The fate of the universe is in your hands, and each decision reflects every aspect of your character. Not just your beliefs, but your personality and moral alignment. Your first decision could very well determine who you are as a person, and the scale of that decision combined with the psychological horror elements makes Slay the Princess a treat for everyone to experience themselves. Oh, bloody hell!
Let me be the first to show you the
Broom closet.
Okay. I know they're gonna hate this joke, because this joke's been ran into the ground already. Alright. Well, I guess let's get Nick back in here again. Hopefully you won't see me again. But if you do, hey, it's been a pleasure chilling with you. Anyway, Solo Nate out. Really informative there, Solo Nate. Nice job. Well done. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, bloody hell!
Let me be the first to show you the
Broom closet.
God, I wish I had alcohol.
The saying bigger is better has been the go-to for a lot of AAA developers as of late, and it's probably why we're in the state we're in right now. Everyone's trying to push the envelope with bigger open worlds, but a lot of those games fall into the trap of having huge worlds but nothing to do in them. The formula has been cracked for years now. You want your world to feel big? Make it feel lived in, and you make it so that the world changes based on what you do. Take a trip to the wastelands of Fallout New
Yakuza is a
Vegas.
great example of that. Like, Yakuza is open world, but like it's set in like a small area, and there's like just content jam-packed from one corner to the other, like to do, you know?
Yeah. And then you look at you look at Ubisoft games, and it's literally the same 6 missions over
Ubisoft's entire
and over
strategy
again.
is Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V.
And it's like, wait, those two are too close together. Okay, move it a little bit further that way. God dang it.
In other words, they just copy and paste over and over again the same kind of shit. Like,
Yeah.
See exactly how this can be achieved. New Vegas drops you into its sprawling world and tells you to interact with it however you want. And as far as
love
Fallout
some
games
New
go,
Vegas.
it's easily the most immersive.
it's the only
Sure,
Fallout
Bethesda
game I
titles
really
like
ever got into.
Skyrim have it beat in scale, but Obsidian's New Vegas world feels more alive than any of Bethesda's outings, and that's in no small part to the charm of the characters and side quests. Throughout the game,
I'm gonna be honest with you. The game was rigged from the start.
you can choose between different factions and decisions depending on what you want to see for the wasteland. Depending on who you help and how, quests
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
can branch into completely different routes. You can side with the enigmatic Mr. House and help him realize his utopia.
So choosing crony capitalism. No, thank you.
How about the other 3 main quote-unquote routes for this story? You can also side with the NCR, which does a lot of more
So sign up for taxation. No, thank you.
questionable things for the greater good.
Oh,
but hey, it's
every single faction does morally questionable things in this. There's no right answer.
I know.
at least preferable than siding with the insane theocratic mess that is Kaiser's Legion.
Hey. Glory to Kaiser. I'm joking. I do not endorse slavery. Repeat, I do not endorse slavery. Jesus.
Unless you're feeling like an evil route, of course. The game.
Badger was.
Yeah, I literally did every single one, so...
Which one would you say is, like, the best route?
I couldn't really say. Like, I liked all of it as a game, and there's no best route, like, because, like I said, all of them are morally questionable, so... There's some that are worse than others, obviously, but they're all pretty bad.
Fair enough.
I mean, not in a bad, it's a bad game way, I mean, just in a morally bad way, you know?
Did you take the Yes Man route?
Yeah, at some point.
I heard the Yes Man route's actually like you can literally like rule New Vegas basically because you get rid of Mr. House and you basically tell the NCR and the Legion to just shove it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess that's supposed to be like the canonical one.
In my mind, I think that's probably the best one. Also, going into was it Gamora's that oh no it's the glove fucking cannibals, dude. The Silk Glove Society, I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, like going in there and like killing all the cannibals and dealing with them. Also,
I need to play it again at some point because when I played it with like the idea of like, yeah, I'm gonna make a save at a point. So I made a save like once I was through like most of like the first half of the game, and then played through like each of the endings from there. And I want to play like another playthrough at some point nowadays where I just go completely through and let all my choices like stand and such, and not save scum, and just see how it turns out, you know?
yeah. Then of course there's also all of the DLC that they released. I mean, Old World Blues and just dude, so many great ones. Anyway, sorry.
The game even gives you the option to go rogue and side with nobody, charting your own path. No matter what you do, the game's ending will reflect it and give you a "where are they now?" showing how you affected everyone you came across on your journey. The game has no perfect ending. The quote-unquote best ending is entirely your own. You're free to choose what aligns with what you like. New Vegas is a game that's been getting a growing following as of late. It's not hard to see why. In an age where games tend to have the width of oceans but the depth of a puddle, the world of New Vegas stands out from the crowd. Also, the game has an entire faction of Elvis impersonators. Just
Hey, the Kings, baby.
Put that out there. And yes, what happens to them is entirely up to you.
All right, numero 3. We're in the top 3. What do we got?
Hey, you can fight me on this. I like all the Dark Pictures games.
Really? I mean, I've played the first 2, and they're all right. Like, I've heard that there's at least one of them after the first 2 that's really not good.
Yeah, the one in the them like going around the hotel and shit.
And that's the one that looked the coolest to me too, so that sucks if that's the bad one.
I think that's the one that people universally, because keep in mind I've only played like Man of Medan and like a few and like bits and pieces of the other ones. For me, I really wanted to play The Quarry when it originally came out for Scaredy Kate, but the time has come and gone. I still want to play it though. I still would love to play through The Quarry with Kate, because I think she'd like that. Because we played through Until Dawn, and that was a good time.
On top of the extensive range of character interactions, the way these games are written just speaks to me. Yeah, I even like Man of Medan and Little Hope. Of course, I don't think they're perfect, but I still like them. But let's not kid ourselves. Until Dawn is still the best one.
I didn't know that was even considered to be part of the Dark Pictures.
It's not. Dark Pictures is like its own separate entity, whereas Until Dawn, I think he's just saying, I really like the Dark Picture series. There, I said it. But Until Dawn is still the best. Because I know that Man of Medan was the first one. Let's see.
Yeah, Until Dawn is not part of the Dark Pictures anthology.
Neither is The Quarry. Because what Supermassive Games did was basically they split their team in two to develop. They have one side developing a bunch of a bunch of smaller ones for Man of Medan and smaller anthology series, and then they have the bigger teams working on the bigger games.
Yeah, it's also Until Dawn was published by Sony Interactive, whereas the Dark Pictures are published by Bandai Namco.
Oh,
so that's a big difference between those two.
Yeah, both are Japanese companies though, but still Supermassive is the primary developers. So anyway.
Story's simple. A bunch of whippersnappers had a prank gone wrong in a cabin within a snowstorm. Some of them went missing over it, and a year later, they had a reunion to try and rekindle old threads. But of course, there are twists and turns as the darkness of the past would come back to haunt our protagonists. Like the other games, Until Dawn is a horror survival where the characters live or die based on the choices you make. This game demands you pay special attention to every hint, from future predicting totems to established info to your character's personalities. Your choices, as well as your performance, write the story, and you only get one shot. Butterfly Effect is the name of the game. For example, there's a love quadrangle between Mike, Jess, Emily, and Matt. Whether or not Matt and Mike got into a fight over Emily affects whether or not Emily and Jess get into a fight over Mike, which affects whether or not...
called a square.
Yeah, I love Square. Yeah, because it's literally two opposite, each two opposite points are not involved with each other, because, you got Mike and Matt here, and then M and Jess on the opposite sides, and it's just everyone's going in between.
Matt and
I would have said a chicken foot, because it all stems from Matt, or from Mike, because M used to be involved with Mike, and Emily's involved with Mike, and then Matt is the offshoot only involved with Emily, because he's not involved with Jess at all. I don't know.
Emily get into a fight over... Okay, you get the point.
Flare.
It's a pretty complicated love square.
Hey, see? Even Doug agrees. Good Lord. Also, my sister Madeline just got done playing Until Dawn, and she saved everybody except for Matt. Matt's the easiest one to get killed.
I thought you were going to say except for Emily.
Oh, no. Emily, she saved everybody save for Matt. And I said...
I really was debating on shooting Emily.
I was too. She's such a bitch. And which is sad, because in real life, her actress is actually really nice. Everybody loves her actress in real life.
I'm not one of those people that hates on actors and actresses
for
the characters they play. I think that's absurd.
Yeah, so to all you asshats who hated Jack Gleason for playing Joffrey, don't hate on him. He did amazing. The fact that he made you hate him so much is a compliment to the actor. Don't take it out on the actor. Take it out on Joffrey. Besides, he's not real.
Same thing for the actress that played, I forgot her name now. Cersei.
Oh, yeah. Lena Headey is just according to everyone out there, she's such a nice person. Same thing with Jack Gleason. But anyway, sorry.
Also, Mike being a good boyfriend affects how little clothing Jess has later in the game. Okay, they're not all winners. The choice...
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you are a good enough boyfriend to her and you don't mess up the environment, you don't mess up her good mood, she basically is down to her underwear. Yes.
Weird.
I got that once.
Don't just come from the main story either. The therapist's questions also affect your playthrough. Yes, some of it is ultimately placebo, but you won't be able to tell the first time. And that applies to the main game too. It keeps you on your toes, in that while some choices don't ultimately matter, those that do will make those feel like they matter. Heck, MadPat was so paranoid he might have duped someone for missing a high five.
There's 5, girl.
Sure.
Oh, poor Matt.
Sure, there are some characters that get a bit of plot armor, and you do got to work extra to make.
Yeah, Mike and Sam. Mike and Sam got the biggest. They got like level 4 plate, like level 4 like ballistic plate plot armor.
Sure, a certain someone who is really tricky to keep alive would survive. It's okay, Chris. You're worth it. But everything else is fair game. The whole game really does nail the experience of an interactive horror flick. In the end, you're free to follow the tropes that come with it, subvert it, or forgo it altogether to your heart's content.
So I can't remember. Did we save everybody in my playthrough, or did Jess die?
Jess died.
I thought so.
Jess died, and I think
that was it.
Yeah.
Like after that, I didn't lose anybody.
But you wanted to shoot Emily.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to. You just didn't go through with it.
I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
If there is any game known for just how much your choices dictate what happens, it's gotta be Undertale. No fancy intro necessary.
Yeah, so I already
Undertale...
gotta say this list is not perfect for sure.
No.
It's missing the 2 big ones. 3 big ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm sure the last one's going to be Baldur's Gate 3, in which case you're missing 2 huge ones.
Mm-hmm.
Disco Elysium and Planescape Torment.
I storm with just how many choices it gives you and how they affect the plot.
Yeah, but how many endings are there? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. 3 endings. Because normal ending, pacifist ending, genocide ending.
Mm-hmm.
Your choices do matter, but only with 3 outcomes.
Yeah.
Oh, really, Josh? Your choices matter? There's only 3 routes.
Yeah. It's literally what we just said.
Really? Every interaction with the characters feels organic, and every one of them can be spared or killed depending on what your run is. Everyone knows about the pacifist ending, of course, but the neutral route has a shocking amount of depth and awareness for what you do. It's seriously underrated. Depending on your actions, you could leave the underground in the hands of any one of the main cast, up to and including an ending where, at the lack of anyone capable of leadership, a random dog takes power. But
what's wrong with that? Doggo is a good boy.
I don't know, man. Like, I ended up with a neutral ending on my 1 full playthrough because I didn't realize you could spare Toriel. And so, like, everybody was a huge dick to me about Toriel, like, the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
for me, it was...
still felt like an ending where it's like, you're still a bad person, and it's cool, I haven't killed anyone else. Like, didn't seem to change that much.
Well, for me, the neutral ending... I got the neutral ending because I had to kill Asgore. And that's it.
Because I think the first time you play through, you have to. Like, you're not able to get the pacifist ending until the second playthrough.
Yes. Which, if you don't kill anybody, but yet you only kill Asgore... You're leaving it in the hand. You're leaving like the underground in the hands of Toriel. You're leaving like Toriel takes over, reclaims her place as queen, and basically like rules after Asgore's passing. Then you have to go through again, defeat Flowey, and then you can get the real pacifist ending.
The end of it. Go as far as killing everyone you can, and Undertale bites back hard with the no mercy route. You want to kill everyone? Go ahead and try. The game brings you and itself to the limit until literally nothing remains. Something only a deal with the devil can bring back. Heck, the game catches on to you doing multiple playthroughs, or heck, abandoning playthroughs at key moments. Nothing you do lacks consequences. Everything matters. Do another run after killing someone, and they'll have deja vu of you and Flowey. That little weed will not hesitate to rub it in your face. You can't undo your mistakes. The game even has the foresight to call you out for watching Let's Plays or data mining. Undertale takes your expectations.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
For it being a game and uses that to its advantage to create an experience like no other. So imagine everyone shocked to see Deltarune hit you with "your choices don't matter." Toby Fox's mind works in ways none of us can begin to comprehend.
Honorable mentions? Okay, what do we got?
Lisa, the Painful. Cut off your own limbs or sacrifice your friends. Fun choices. Dragon Age Origins. You can decide who lives, who dies, and who gives you the stink eye if you don't save their village. Fear and Hunger 2, Termina. More characters, more gods, more gory ways to perish. Hollow Knight. Let Zote die.
You should have killed me when you had the chance!
Trust me on this. Spore, while not executed the best, the variety of gameplay choices based on evolution definitely deserves recognition. Coffin of Andy and Laylee. Oh my goodness, Andrew punched his sister. He can grow a spine after all, if you let him. Robot Alchemic Drive.
Knock, knock. Get the door.
The Broom Closet.
God dang it with the broom closet bit. Better be Baldur's Gate 3. Or Disco Elysium.
You know, no matter what game you play, there is always going to be some limit to what choices are possible. The game will have to follow a linear path in some way to some sort of end state. You can alter the path or do drastic actions to make major plot points happen sooner, but in the end, the game is always the will of whoever wrote it. In the sense, you aren't the master of the story. They are. A dungeon master, it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Of course, thank God. That one had to be it.
D&D is where RPGs and choice-based games got their mainstream appeal. So it makes sense that the best D&D game would be our number one. In Baldur's Gate 3, you play as, well, whoever you want. A custom character that finds themselves infected by a tadpole creature to turn them into mind flayers before accidentally being saved. Now you journey with these other infected to find a cure and the truth behind these events. That's the premise, but anyone who's ever heard of this game notes that that's just the surface. In true D&D fashion, pretty much any choice you make has some sort of ripple effect on the story or even your gameplay. Whether it's saying the wrong thing to a random NPC or having the wrong companion in your party at the wrong time, it could lead to your companion leaving or your entire party dying and having to restart at the last checkpoint. But that doesn't mean you have complete control. You are still following a story led by a dungeon master who will narrate your choices or lack thereof. And even above the DM, there is a force that not even the gods can alter. The will of the dice.
Just so you know, Jeff, you were not creating 6 different timelines.
Of course I am, Abed.
Because of course we got to roll d20s to make choices and pray to RNGesus that you don't crit fail. Live by the dice, die by the dice. And with 12 classes, 68 subclasses as of the last patch.
I saw some articles and I agree that like Baldur's Gate 3 was like one of the first times for a lot of people that they decided not to save scum everything, and like, it actually made them like respect the dice rolls and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Embrace failure.
And companions, you could play this game hundreds of times and still never see every piece of content. Heck, people are still discovering unique contextual bits of dialogue that no player would conceivably pick in their playthrough, yet the game was prepped for it anyway.
Once again, man, Larian Studios just went so far above and beyond. Everyone talks about, Skull and Bones. Like, it's like, oh, this is going to be the first ever official quadruple A game. Fuck off, Ubisoft. This, I hate throwing the term around because it's facetious and absolutely, like, mind-numbingly stupid. But if there was one game that I do think that is worthy of being called a quadruple A game simply for quality, this is it. Jesus Christ.
There's even technically a 7th origin character called the Dark Urge that can alter the story dramatically just by choosing it over the origin characters. Oh, and this game is long. One playthrough will take you 100+ hours at least, and that isn't including all the resets and save scumming you're going to be doing to get the results you want.
Or just don't save scum.
This still
just enjoy it.
Embrace failure.
Is a video
Fun.
game. Nothing is ever truly permanent. Other than the save scumming, you can also just mod out the dice rolls, give yourself better odds, or just brute force everything using cheats. And unlike Undertale,
what's the fun in that?
Right.
It won't remember your choices to guilt you later. But with more ending alterations than the average hourly playtime, this game will almost literally be different each time you play it. At least in subtle ways, the core story will still occur. Gosh, does Act 1 drag on those repeat playthroughs? But it's so worth it to experience the closest thing we ever got to a journey that we can really choose our own ending. Other than making our own games anyways. About the Broom Closet.
Alright, I get it!
I'm
Yeah.
Thank you.
Josh Scorcher, and I am ending this quickly because it's my choice. Deuces!
Cut!
My God. Smoldering schlemiels, kindling kidders, sparkling stooges. Sparking stooges. Good Lord. Okay. Alright. Well, that was something. That was definitely something.
But yeah, like, it's hard to recommend because of how the studio was stolen from them.
Ooh, that's right.
Disco Elysium is definitely one of those games where choices
Maybe that's why
matter.
Josh didn't include it, because of just, like, the bullshit.
Yeah. Like, the only thing about Disco Elysium is your ending won't really ever change too much. Like, if you reach the end. Like, there are endings before the end, like, where things can go bad, and it can just kind of end there, you know? But it's mostly just kind of game overs. In that case, you just kind of reload and try again.
Okay, Henry Stickmin. Henry Stickmin is another one people like talk about. Room Closet will remember this. I hope not.
Yeah, I've heard in terms of just writing and stuff and like choices matter that Planescape Torment is just a big one. It's just kind of dated at this point. It's built in the D&D 2 engine, and just making a character is confusing for that reason because the stats do not work anywhere near the same as they do in 5e.
Fair enough. Oh gosh. So Fire Emblem with supports matter. If Until Dawn here, the quarry deserves a mention too. Yeah, I am still in the team that in the camp that accepts that Until Dawn does not have a film adaptation. What film adaptation? I don't acknowledge it. I don't.
I forgot that was even a thing.
What thing?
Exactly,
you see? It's easy. So anyway, yeah. Top 10 games where your choices actually matter by Josh Scorcher. We're going to leave a like on that. I liked it for the most part. Some jokes ran a little bit too much, but I will say that, yeah, and also Solo Nate had to react to part of this by himself, which, is expected because, we don't want to spoil anything for Nikolai over here because I want Nick to enjoy his damn, his damn video games.
Especially the one I already bought out of the two.
Yes, there you go.
It's literally sitting there waiting to be played soonish.
Well, either way, everybody, thank y'all very much for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.